Hello everybody and welcome back to the next video. This time we're going to talk about the current warding spots for the new map in Dota 2. And just as a small note, this is not the final stage of the wards. I could have only watched the map for like 30 minutes now, but I have already like a kind of strict plan what I'm going to do in pubs and what I'm going to try to abuse on the minimap with the wards. Because it's actually pretty easy to understand if you have one thing behind in your mind. What is the most important part about wards? You want either high ground so people can't find your wards easily, or you want the perfect spots where you see rotations what the enemies do. And my idea of the new minimap is basically people abusing these rivers quite a lot, and you need to think about the way how they're gonna use it. They will never probably run upside because they don't get any movement speed, so they will always try to like walk down and get the most advantage out of it and farm some camps. So the first wards I'm gonna recommend you is basically in the river. And if you have the possibility, you can even place it on these like small waterfalls because people will cross that. But if you don't want to put them on the waterfalls because it's kind of obvious and you want to try to avoid enemies taking your wards, you place them on high grounds like here or even here. And if you want to be very, very smart, you basically just TP base, you're buying a quelling blade for yourself or you ask your carry, then you come back here and you just go here, cut this tree, and you just realized you cannot place a ward. Holy shit, I do not expect that. But anyway, I'm pretty sure you can place it at some point. You just need to find out which high grounds you can. I'm pretty surprised you cannot place it up there because that would be kind of broken, I guess, but I still like it. So then we just go for the regular one. You cut this tree and you place it up somewhere here. For example, this. It's pretty sad that you can't place it up there, which is like kind of understandable because you can never reach this high ground without like having flying vision or even a ward yourself and the sentry. Otherwise, you will never find this ward. So I guess this is kind of like the balance between it, but you can still use these high grounds around the rivers because these rivers are so big. For example, here, like look at this size of the river. You can place here. You can basically, okay, there's a high ground, but this is gonna, don't place it on the high grounds. Only place these high ground wards for one reason, if you're looking to fight around this area and you are able to protect these wards. Otherwise, I do not want you to place these kind of high ground wards, okay? Try to place them around the river so you get some information and ideas where the enemies are walking. Because the rivers will be a very big point around the entire map because people will farm there, people will try to escape there, and most importantly, people will try to abuse these gates for that. So you need to keep in mind, people will always use the gates and run around, especially because of 15-minute out, what is it called, tormentors now. So you can even, if you want to leave a ward here, because I'm pretty sure 90% of the people will not deward this because nobody thinks about it, running to the edge of the entire map and placing a sentry or something. At some point, if the ward is like very, very common, people will, yes, of course. But for now, I can guarantee you, in your pubs, people will only deward two things. Either the wards that are known and like still used, for example here, they still play, like a lot of people will still place this ward or place this ward. It's like the classic, even from the old patch. For example, here's no high ground anymore, so people used to like place it there, most likely. But like the other recommendation is basically high grounds. And if whenever you see a high ground, people will definitely place it, like this one or the other one I just saw somewhere else. I can't find it right now, but like, you know what I mean. These type of high grounds, people will always place them and try to abuse these high grounds, which will not work because these spots are the most common dewards ever. So you always want to place them around spots where enemies are not predicting it. For example, like here, people will not check that usually. Maybe they will because this is going to be, for example, a very common spot that you have to like keep in mind. But other than that, I want you to be as creative as possible and think about, yo, where are the enemies moving? What do I need to do? And where can I place the wards? So, as I said, don't place on high ground. Always place in areas where people are not expecting it, or some areas that are new and people don't think about these spots. For example, the dire triangle kind of looks the same, besides there's no high ground ward anymore here. But instead of that, like everything is the same. So people will still deward this area, people will still deward this, they will deward this, and they will probably deward around here. But the fact that you don't have a high ground here, that means they will probably most likely not check it actively because they're not expecting you to cut the tree there and place a ward. Alright, another recommendation for myself and for you guys is definitely this position down here. You need to cut one tree so you can see the entire area around there. When somebody is going out of base, farming this camp, or going here and farming this camp. And the hindsight because of that is also you see the XP thing. Like you see if somebody is there with this ward, kind of. I mean, you can place it a little bit further so you can see more, but like these two camps gonna be so big because people, especially we're talking about our core buddies out there. For example, somebody dies in my team on Radiant. What is the first thing you carry does? In the old patch, they walked here and they killed this camp. And then they walked forward. Yes, they can still do it, but if you're smart enough, you already prepared like 1 or 2 wards in the river, so you're gonna see them. And they're gonna think like, what is closer to my base? I'm just gonna run up there and walk to this camp and walk to this camp and kill it. And maybe if he's lucky, he's also gonna get this XP rune. And after that, he can either decide to go here or to go to the triangle if he wants to farm even more. So in my opinion, this area right there, like this entire area here, is going to be crucial for both sides, like here and here on the minimap, as you can see. So definitely prepare wards there, but I recommend you not placing them on the triangle because the triangle are literally the same. Like this triangle is also the same, besides the fact there's like no high ground ward anymore, which I think is kind of good because people were abusing this way too much and it was kind of annoying. So it's the same on here. They remove both high grounds and the triangle itself is the same. The only thing they got changed is basically the basic jungle that is different and the jungle down there with the new river on both sides of the map, which I very like. But you need to think about it and abuse it. People are actually lazy and they're gonna be stupid, trust me. They will not think about what you want to do and what you're gonna have vision. And if you think about this every single game, you're gonna have definitely the advantage currently for like a few weeks or even months. What kind of wards will be good and what can you abuse? For example here, if I just look at this area, what is the best spot you can place? It is most likely this, because you see the camp, you see the bounty, you see this camp, and you see the river. And even on the high ground here, you can see some people passing by. And if you want, so for example, like a ward for the action rune of a rush, you just place it there. Here, you see the action rune, and you see the rush if somebody's walking in there. And on the other side, you have this ward. You see the action rune, and you see people walking in there. And if you want to be very sure, you can even place this one. Because you see the action rune as well, and you see the rush pit, and even walking rush out. Let me throw me away! Oh, Jesus! Okay, that was a lot of damage. Holy shit. I did not expect it. But yeah, I really hope these kind of ideas will help you in your warding spots in the game. Just keep 3 things in mind. Rivers, no high grounds, and some random ass positions where nobody expects you to place a ward. Because people will struggle at the warding, and the new spots are like very widely open. That basically means if you place a ward there and the enemy is placing a sentry here, he's only gonna see this area. So he, first of all, he's gonna miss this ward and he's gonna miss this ward. So he needs to place 1, 2, and even 3 sentries if you wanna cover the entire small jungle here. And you need to abuse this every time. Like one thing as well on this map is there are a lot of high and low grounds, which I like because you can abuse it for yourself. The high and low grounds are like very abusable because people will never run up high grounds without vision usually. And whenever somebody's like going to the river, they rather walk down here instead of up here. First of all, they get movement speed if they walk down, at least a little bit. Then they can go back to the lane, or they can even go further and walk the river down and farm some camps if they want to. But the thing is, people will most likely not abuse the rivers that much because the rivers are only good if you have somebody that can farm the ancients. And the other, like the new camp, the water boys, I forgot the name of them, but like these guys are also very strong. And I think this is a big camp too, yes. Like the 3 big camps and like 2 big camps and 1 ancients down there in the river, which will be very hard to farm early on. So people rather farm the jungle first on this area, like here, and maybe here, because there's no ancients anymore, there's an XP rune, and they can like chill this over the time. I think that the river down there is only good later on in the game because people want to try to like abuse the camps, move fast forward, and basically like try to rotate around the map with these outposts as well, or like twin gates, whatever you want to call this. But like kill the outposts, use the twin gate, go top, take this entire area and like play around it. So people want to be very cheeky about that and they're going to try to think about it. But most likely, in most of the pubs right now, people are not using a single brain cell, so you're very free to do whatever you want, so keep that in mind, and definitely abuse the current situation in Dota, and abuse the wards that you have currently. And yeah, I really hope these kind of tips will help you getting a better understanding of the map currently, and help you in your future growth when it comes down to warding and supporting, and actually outsmarting your enemies, and even like sometimes yourself or your teammates. So thanks for watching, and remember, always, if it's possible, buy a quelling blade if you want to place a ward on the high ground that is kind of unexpected, you can easily abuse it every single time. And on this ward even, I just realized, you can even block the enemy camp, which is pretty cool, but you can also place it like here so you don't block it. So it's not obvious that this camp is blocked, that you have a ward there. It's your decision. I wish you good luck in your pubs. And I'm gonna like try to produce more videos now again, because I'm happy that a patch is there and I'm very like interested in it. And if you are interested in watching me playing or like finding out some random shit, definitely check out my Twitch channel. The link is in the description. We're gonna see us there whenever I'm like pubbing it up or like talking about the patch or anything else. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye and peace.